it's Lindsay from My Crafty Plans. Welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, welcome. Today I am going to be working on some goals. So I'm actually going to start with my goals for Q2. So breaking down my 2025 annual goals into quarterly goals. I loved having quarterly goals all through the first part of this year, all through in Q1. I found it incredibly helpful. So I'm going to be doing that. Again, these pages right here, I've got a quarterly intentions sheet and a quarterly goals sheet. These are both from the MakseLife quarterly toolkit, and I've already done like my reflections. So I've got my reflections here and wins and highlights. I went over all of that stuff in a different video. But today we're going to be setting the goals for the quarter, and then we're also going to go ahead and set my goals for April as well. This video is going to be voiceover style, so I'm just going to put on some chill music, think about what I want to accomplish in the second quarter of the year, and really focus in on what I'm writing and how I'm writing it. And you'll get to see that whole process. Plus I will give you a voiceover running through my process and what my goals are. So if that sounds good, I'm gonna jump right in. So if you wanna hear more about how Q1 went, I do have a reflections vlog. It's long, I decluttered my closet and I went through all of my Q1 goals and just gave like a wrap up of how I did on everything, and also went through my reflections. I talked a little about my intentions in that video as well, but that whole process made this beginning process of setting goals so easy. I feel like it always does. I haven't been really into doing reflections lately, but spending a little bit of time kind of forcing myself to go through the quarter definitely made it much easier to set goals for Q2. And I did fill out the whole intentions worksheet. This was my first time doing the quarterly intentions because I just did the annual intentions at Q1. It was like too much reflections at that point after my whole 2024 process, but it was nice. This was really a great way to like kind of just reconnect to everything. And in general, I feel like I'm doing a really good job on my goals so far this year. The main thing that I want to pull out from the intentions to share with you is that I really want to try to bring in more consistency in my life in Q2. So this quarter I will be more like, the big word I wrote in the middle was consistent. So that is something that's going to kind of like be a major theme through a lot of my goals and just like kind of where I'm at mentally. I feel like I'm doing a really great job, but just kind of bringing in some more consistency to a lot of different areas of my life, I think will be really helpful in the next 3 months ahead. So after I filled out the intentions page, I went right into the quarterly goals sheet. This one, it's not a lot of space considering like I'm now used to writing my goals in the bigger planner. So I just tried to keep it like really brief and just kind of used a straight list format. Nothing fancy in the formatting here. But for the personal category, I have 3 goals: to use my planner and digital tools consistently, to work on building out helpful daily, monthly, weekly routines to stay organized and move throughout my day. So still working on that routines thing from last quarter, just trying to be like a little bit less formal around the language. I don't necessarily feel like doing a lot of journaling around that right now because it is working well, just like refining where it needs to be and making sure I'm using those routines. And then the third one is the realistic content plan, editing routine, and posting routine. So I am trying to bring a bit more consistency in to a couple of different things here. One, just content overall has been kind of patchy, better than it was last year, but still working on, streamlining that and creating a routine that feels good, that I feel good about, where I'm still getting to share the things that I want to share, but it's not like totally taking over my life. And then also just trying to be a little bit more consistent with my paper planners. Digitally, this has been going amazing already though. So just kind of playing around with my paper planners and trying to find something that works a little bit better for me. The goal setting stuff this year has been like totally top notch. I'm really into that. It's going very well, but I feel like my physical paper planning I've not been as connected to that as I usually am. Then in the fun and recreation category, I just have 2.5 goals, we'll call it. We have a trip coming up very soon. So one, just enjoying that trip, and then to work on our summer and fall travel plans, and then also just our usual scheduled fun weekend plans, and also just to take it outside a lot more since the weather is now nice. This is not like a major focus area for this quarter, mostly just using the routines we already have in place and just enjoying the things that we've already built. Then in work and learning, this is also not a focus area for this year, although I did end up using like all of the space, just having trouble being concise with some of what I wrote. Basically just use all of the things that I built in Q1, project trackers and the other tools. I don't don't have any major projects coming up, at least that I know of right now. So if something comes up, use my trackers and my evaluators to work through that. I am working on a sort of like not time sensitive project. So using some of this downtime to work on that. And then also just continue to use those time management skills, internal deadlines, and just kind of, I've really been working on my procrastination this year. And so far it's going pretty well. So keep that up for the next quarter as well. Then I moved on to family and relationships. I went totally in order during these quarterly goals, which if you are familiar with my goal setting, that is pretty unusual for me. But I was just kind of working through things, and I'd already done like a lot of brainstorming while I was going through the reflections process. So I kind of knew what was going to be in each of the categories, although I hadn't formally written anything down, just like a couple of notes on my phone, etc. For family and relationship, we've got a lot of like paperwork that needs to be done, all of like the camp forms, school forms for next year. So definitely a major focus on like the family related admin in this category. And then also just like to have a really fun and productive end of the school year, focusing on like attitude, kids' attitudes, my attitudes, really like hammering on our after school routine, bringing back the outside time to every day that we can be outside, weather cooperating. I'm not going outside when it's freezing or when it's raining. Some of my kids are more sensitive to that than others, but yeah, just getting that outside in while we can. And then soon, obviously, lots and lots of outside time once it starts to get warmer. I do feel like that helps the kids so much with their attitudes. I mean, it helps me a lot too, but I just feel like I feel like everything is easier with the kids when the weather is nice. Then in the health and wellness category, more consistency in my movement, like in my walking and also going to exercise classes. And then specific goal of working off my ClassPass overage, my credit surplus, so that I'm not losing credits each month, which I actually may hit this month. So that should be good. And if not in May, as long as I keep going with how I've been going lately. Also keep using my AM and PM routines on our bedtime, which has gone so much better this year, and I cannot even tell you, just like, this is such common sense, obviously, but sleeping through the night, like getting more sleep, so hugely beneficial to every area of my life. I feel so much better than I did at the end of the year when I was really not sleeping well, and I'm really sleeping well again, and that's phenomenal. And then also I have some appointments that I need to book in the Q2, but I need to find a new doctor / I have a doctor that left her old practice that I want to try and follow to her new practice. So anyway, I have some appointments that I need to do, but there's like some background of provider / practice finding that I need to do to make those appointments happen. So working on that in Q2 as well. Then in spiritual and personal growth, I've been giving myself like a mindset or a little mantra most months / quarters here. So I did my mindset for Q2 is going to be follow your energy. I talked a lot about that on my reflections log. And then my other goal that I wrote was just to find balance between creative projects, which I've been really into lately, and journaling, which I have not been really into lately, but was really into at the end of the year. So kind of trying to like balance those two together. And then journaling, I actually split down into like this productive style of journaling, like these quarterly reflections that I just did, and memory keeping, which I am actually more concerned with right now. Not like concerned is the right word, but I would really like to bring that practice back into my life. I miss doing it, even though I don't really feel like doing it, but I also just miss having those like memories kept and like the picture spreads. And that's something that I enjoy looking back on and feels nice to like have, especially kids growing up so fast. So I kind of want to, have those memories in the binders and in the notebooks and everything, not just, on my phone and pictures and that kind of stuff. So focusing a little bit more on the memory keeping. And one really easy thing that I've done to start with that in April, which I'll tell you because when I'm recording this voiceover is actually like a week and a half after I set these goals, is for April, I brought back my line a day memory keeper. And it's been a little while since I've done that, but that is like a great, easy memory keeping practice to get back started with. Only 2 goals in financial. 1, just to finish up my taxes. And then 2, to keep up with all of the financial trackers and everything that I built in the beginning of the year. So nice and easy. And I can say this now because as of recording this voiceover, my taxes are done. So nice and easy. We're doing great. This category just also not a focus for Q2, just maintenance goals. And once my taxes are done, which now they are, so we're on to the maintenance period. Then finally, in the physical environment, finish out styling our living room, which is mostly done, but we've got a few other pieces left to do. Clean up our outdoor spaces so that we can enjoy them all through the warm weather season. Maybe work a little on our next up project / plans. We're focused more on travel this year in terms of like how we want to be spending our money, but always a good idea to have those projects in mind. And then the really big one here is that I want to finish up that home hub setup, which is like the dashboard space in Notion that's dedicated towards like home maintenance and cleaning projects and all things like that. So really working on that. It is started, but I'm hoping to finish that up or like finish building that out this quarter. And then lastly, just keep up with our daily cleaning routines. So that's it for my quarterly goals. Honestly, this didn't take that long, maybe only like 30 minutes or so to set all of the goals after all of the reflections that I had done. And at the end of this, I did just go back and give myself a word focus for each of the categories. I liked having that in Q1, so I did it again. And then with that, I was ready to dive right into my April goals. So I don't really have one life area that's a main focus for Q2, which I almost like never am that way. It's like a couple of main focuses from different life areas. There's obviously a lot of admin and like paperwork that needs to happen this quarter, just kind of that transition from the end of the school year into summer. That is a big focus for Q2. Finishing up like a couple of projects that are rolling over from Q1. Like the biggest like goal thing that I want to work on is I think on like the consistency and exercise, and then also finishing up that home hub setup and having that as a resource, since I've seen now how helpful having all of the other resources that I built in Q1 are, like the financial tracking smoother than ever with what I built this year, and taxes, all of that so much easier because of what I had already built. And then also just like my Notion dashboard for kind of life admin and the monthly calendars is all working super well. So I want to bring like that same smoothness to home maintenance, to like deep cleaning, decluttering, kind of all of those things. So that's definitely going to be a major focus for Q2 as well. So after I finished my quarterly goals, I moved right back into my flagship planner to work on the April goals. And I just decided to start with the decorative topper, as I have come to think of it. I've been doing kind of the same thing at the top of the goals spread each month, using the MakseLife washies and then mixing that with like a combination of a date sticker and then also some foil decoration that goes with the season. All of these stickers are stickers that I own from when I used to do those really decorative memory spreads, which I don't do anymore. And one of my like not hard goals, but like soft goals, things that I've mentioned on the channel, it's not anything that's like in my planner, is just to use up more of my sticker stash this year and just like try and really have fun with it. I've actually not bought any new stickers besides Simply Gilded Washi, which I categorize that as like a completely different thing. So besides Simply Gilded, which I'm not counting as part of this, I have not bought any new stickers in a really long time. And I'm really just trying to use what I have in like fun, new, creative ways. And I really love having the foil stickers in my goals. It just makes it like so fun and festive. So I used a lot of spring florals here in rose gold and just really had some fun with it. Also, I can't remember if I've like brought this up before because I have like a backlog of plan with me's that I have not edited yet. And in some of them, I am not in this planner for weekly spreads anymore. And I have been just kind of playing around with different weekly planners right now because I don't feel like this weekly layout is working for me, but I really like the goal space in here. So I am kind of thinking about going back to the quarterly companion notebooks, which if you don't know, this is actually my first year in the flagship planner. I have been using the quarterly companion notebooks the whole time that I've been in MakseLife, but I actually really love having the extra space for the monthly goals. So I'm not really sure. And since I already have this planner and I've been using it, I'm in no rush to kind of stay in here or to change for right now. I do think that the weekly actions in the quarterly companion notebooks would be totally sufficient space-wise, but I'm really enjoying having my monthly goals in here and having like a little bit of extra space to sticker and stuff. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do yet. For now, I'm sticking with this, and I did go ahead and just put the week numbers on all of my weekly pages. That way I don't have to get those stickers out every week when I set my weekly actions. even though my weekly planning spreads have not been super consistent and like my use of paper planners for weekly planning has not been that consistent, and likewise journaling and reflections not, my goal setting has been very consistent. I think I've only missed like 1 or 2 weeks in weekly actions overall, and one of those weeks was a vacation week. Like next week, my whole weekly actions is just going to be like enjoy vacation, and that's next week from when I'm recording this voiceover, not from when I filmed this. So you will actually get to see me set up weekly actions in here as well. I don't know. At the beginning of the year, I was like so excited to have all of it in one place. And I was like, I'm going to stick to the same planner all year, but it's really just not working. I really love aligned vertical weekly spread. I think that's so useful, but just like how important the digital tools have become and like how much easier I'm finding that for kind of the daily to-do listing, it's not really making sense for me to have that much space on my weekly spreads, and I ended up just using a lot of filler, which is great for when I feel like stickering, but when I don't really feel like stickering, it's not super functional. But stay tuned for more on that, and also you can check me out on Instagram and TikTok if you want to see like more of what's happening in real time. It's a little bit easier to keep up with there, not as much editing pressure, but I will eventually catch up here as well. I'm really working on my editing routine and being able to like post my videos more regularly. Okay, on to April goals. I am back going in the order of how things are on my mind rather than going in order. And I just started really quickly with the financial category, which was at the time the most pressing. Just need to finish up my taxes and then regular monthly checks. That's all that's going on in April. Then I went up to health and wellness, which I mentioned was an area that I wanted to focus more on, especially with the ClassPass stuff and the exercise classes. So I said 1 to 2 classes per week and to work down my credit overage, which halfway through April, I'm happy to report that I am doing well with. And then obviously I don't plan to go to a class while we're on vacation during spring break because I don't think that would work. Although I guess I could check and see if there's anything nearby that I could use. So yes, you never know. But anyway, other than vacation, just kind of working down that ClassPass credit overage by going to 1 to 2 classes per week. And then just my regular PM routine and going to bed at 10 p.m. And then also just starting on some of that proactive appointment and provider check and scheduling. I have a couple of things I need to finish up with the kids, and then I can sort of shift gears and focus on that for myself as well. Then I swung down to the physical environment category, and I put 3 things on there: the living room styling, the shop patio cushions. I want to buy some new cushions for our outdoor tables so that we can have dinner there. That one's actually fairly pressing, probably the top priority in this category, not super difficult to do. And then work on the home hub and project list. So definitely need to do that. Again, we're about halfway through the month. I think the living room one is going to get pushed to next month. We don't have our paintings yet, but I will keep going with that hopefully in May. And then I hopefully can work some on the home hub and project list, maybe even a little bit while I'm on vacation, because I'm always looking for like a little bit of computer stuff to do in the evening and vacation that's like kind of low pressure and not, anything crazy for after the kids have gone to bed. I will say it is a little bit interesting. I set these goals before April started, but now I'm recording this voiceover. It's actually April 9th, so we're like a little bit less than halfway through the month. So it's interesting to see kind of like a mid-month check-in on what I've worked on and where I'm at with all of this. And just given where I'm at right now, I think I may have been a little overambitious with some of these April goals, just considering that we're going on vacation for a full week during the month. So it's a very short month to be working on things. In the family and relationships category, I wanted to run through all the school and camp paperwork. That I'll probably do when I get back from vacation to get ready, because we've got some of those appointments starting to come up in May. Also just check in on any summer activities we want to keep on and any camp stuff that I need to take care of. And then just continue to work on our PM routine, which has been going better than it was, but the weather has still been slightly uncooperative, so hopefully getting warmer soon. And in the work and learning category, I only had 2 goals: to work on that new report thing that I'm working on. This has been like kind of ongoing. Right now, I'm mostly just overseeing someone else who's working on the project, but my part will pick back up soon. We're running a little bit behind what I wanted schedule-wise, but again, this is a low pressure one, and I've been able to kind of reuse some of that time to work on other things, so I'm not too stressed about that. And then the other one was just to utilize good time management skills, and I feel like I'm still doing a really good job with this. So that is pretty much it for the work and learning category, just not a major focus this month. And then before before even grabbing the red marker to finish out the work and learning category, I just went right up to fun and recreation, where I only have two things: have the weekend plans, but mostly just enjoy our spring break trip. Again, like I said, we're going on vacation and we're going for a full week. So definitely a focus for this month in that category, but not like a lot of stuff I have to do as the vacation's already all planned and we're just really excited to go. Then I went back in with that red marker before swinging up to the personal category, where I've got two categories here. One was just to work on my weekly planning routine, like trying to reconnect with my paper planning. And like I said, I've been trying out some new planners this month, so stay tuned for more on that. Things have been going a little bit better, and right now I'm actually really loving the Laurel Denise portrait planner, so more on that to come. But the other one is then just to do a content plan and a routine and be like realistic and consistent with it. And it is actually going better. YouTube is definitely the one that's like the slowest to feel the impact, just because the editing of these long form videos obviously takes way longer than Reels and TikToks and things like that. But I am getting better. My posting on Instagram and TikTok has been like way more consistent this month, and I am just really trying not to like overcommit to posting too much, and therefore like having less videos kind of than my peak level, but more videos than I would otherwise have, because I'm just being more consistent. And that's going pretty well so far, and it's helping me, post the things that I want to post without just like having it either be all or nothing. And then lastly, in the spiritual and personal growth category, just two related things, just to bring back some reflective journaling and also a little bit of memory keeping. The memory keeping is actually going better than the reflective journaling, but the reflective journaling was pretty strong at the end of the quarter. So overall, I think I am tackling this. I could still probably use a little bit more discipline in my journaling practice though. Then finally, for this video, I broke down my monthly goals for the week ahead. Week 14 in here, also my birthday week. My birthday was actually April 6th. I started just in the financial category, super easy. I worked on my taxes this week. I did actually finish them, so that was really great. It took most of the week though, and I also just did my monthly finances. And then the other thing that I really wanted to get done this first week in April was to finish out all of like my calendars and my other regular monthly rollover stuff, which I'm happy to say that I did. And then still working on that content routine. Again, it's been going better, at least in the beginning part of April so far. So fingers crossed that keeps going for the rest of the month. In the physical environment category, I just wrote down that I wanted to clean my office, which was totally overrun with like PR packages and some planner orders and stuff like that. But I did get all of that finally all cleaned up as well. And then just our regular daily cleaning routine, which again has been going super well. And it just always makes me feel so much better to just be in a clean house. In the work and learning category, I had just written something for this company's public facing website and it was going live. So I just needed to get that all finished up. And then just other than that, I've just been working on that same non-time sensitive project as I have downtime. In the family and relationships category, I wrote down to start on the paperwork, inventory, and printing. This I ended up pushing off. I just didn't end up having time to get to this with the tax work. And then the PM routine and homework stuff, which did go pretty well this week, and again, has also been going pretty well this month. In the health and wellness category, I wanted to go, and I did go to 2 classes last week, just using my regular AM and PM routine, and then also getting to bed on time. And I feel like I did a really good job with all of those. In the spiritual and personal growth, I ended up just writing reflections, which I did not do, but I kind of feel like I'm doing right now, and we're only a few days into the next week. So you know what? I'm gonna count it. We take the wins where we can, and that is it for all of this goal setting. All right, so that is everything. We've got my weekly actions for week 14, my April goals, and my Q2 goals. So excited to have that all done and cannot wait to dive in. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know something you're going to be working on in April down in the comments below. You can also check me out on Instagram and TikTok at MyCraftyPlans for even more planner fun. Bye!